What's up guys? The time has come again to dive into monthly beauty favorites. Let's go ahead and get started. First I want to start with foundation. Now I just posted a video talking about my favorite foundations and so this will be one of those, but I feel the need to give a very special shout out to the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation because I've said this every time I've mentioned it in a video here, but it is a high-end feeling and looking foundation for $5. Like, you just can't beat it. Mine is in the shade Soft Beige. It gives a nice, it says medium to full coverage. It's supposed to be medium to full coverage, but I think it's a true solid medium that doesn't really make it all the way to full, or what I consider to be full on my skin and with the hyperpigmentation or freckling discoloration that I tend to work with. But I'm happy with the coverage and the finish because it leaves this like slightly dewy, I mean the stuff on my cheeks is due to another favorite, a blush that I've talked about many times here before, but the stuff like on my forehead, I haven't powdered, I haven't done any highlighter today, like all of this glow is solely from this foundation, and I've just so been enjoying this foundation along with all the others I mentioned in that other video, which in case you want something that is more full coverage or more matte or a little bit more sheer with sun protection, all that, I include all of those pics in that video if you want to go give it a watch. Tap the I or check the description bar below. But I just felt the need to give this shout out because the brand sent this to me this month. It's my first time trying it this month and it deserves all the attention and more just because it's such a beautiful formula at such a low price. Then for concealer, I have fully gone back to my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away liquid concealer. I am the shade 3. I say gone back to because the past few months I've been going in between the e.l.f. Camo Concealer and other things that I loved before in the past because despite loving my camo concealer, my formula really dried out. I think I got a wonky package, or maybe one of a few, a lot of people who express the same issues, but the outside of the package got gross and, you know, product kind of getting caked and crusted on there, and then the product itself started to dry out. So I went back to this Magic Away liquid concealer and have just been loving the consistency. It's a little bit less coverage than the camo concealer, which is why I didn't think I would love it as much as I have been, but maybe it's just the foundations that I've been using it with that the coverage tends to be perfect. It gives a slightly glowy finish, like obviously not, you know, to the extent where it would emphasize my under eye area, but just a very healthy kind of way that illuminates the under eye area without sinking or falling into fine lines and creping up in there. I don't tend to set it with powder. Occasionally I will if I know I'm going to be out and about for an extended period of time in this hot summer heat, but for the most part it just wears really beautifully without. And I'm actually almost out of this. I'm kind of to the point here where I would typically buy a backup to make sure I am not without, so I need to put that on my next shopping list. For brows, I'm loving the same duo I have over the past couple of months, but I have been leaning a little bit more heavily on my CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. Oh my god, I didn't do my brows today. Well, let's just do those while we talk about them, shall we? So this is the CoverGirl Ultra Fine Brow Pencil, and the shade that I picked up is Soft Brown. I actually just picked up another backup. Like I said, I am a fan of backup. So this is a brand new one because I ran out and picked that I think Ulta was having like a 5 times points thing recently, so I got that as well as another Dipbrow gel from Anastasia, which is the other favorites. But I just love this for the fine. It's just so easy to get like hair-like structures that look a little bit more natural than something like a thick or waxier pencil would. And granted, the consistency is slightly waxy, but because you get less product with each stroke, it's not like it's going to hold your brows in place quite as well as a thicker waxy pencil would. But that's where my Dipbrow comes in, because once I am done just filling my brows in, kind of thickening them up and creating somewhat cleaner lines and a longer tail over here, like you can see the difference there. It's very subtle, but it's just a little bit cleaner than they would be otherwise. Then I will go in with my Dipbrow gel, and this is in the shade Medium Brown. Is that the shade I got? Yes, I got Medium Brown again. Then I will just go in with this and run it through my brows to make sure they are set in place all day. I got into the habit of not using the CoverGirl pencil, like just using the Anastasia brow gel to set my brow hairs, but because it's so pigmented, it would kind of get caught in, I need to like wax and clean up my brow perimeter if I really cared about this, but it gets caught in those brow hairs that I have kind of outside of this, and it just looks a little bit messy if I don't go in beforehand with that pencil to kind of beef my brows up ahead of time. So I'm gonna do the other brow here and then move on to some more products. Alrighty, brows are done. Let's move on to the rest of my face. For contour, I've still been loving my Huda Beauty Tantour. Mine is in the shade Light, and for every reason I have stated in previous favorites videos, I just love it because of how buildable it is. It can go on pretty strong, but it is so easy to blend out and create this natural looking faux contour tan bronzing sort of situation, and I can wear it over any base, whether it's a more full coverage foundation, something that's lighter, or even bare skin. Like, it blends in that well that it's versatile across like full coverage faces, anywhere from a full coverage face to a very, very natural looking face where you still just want a little bit of bronze and definition. So love that. However, also when when Believe Beauty sent me products, they sent me basically everything for a full face, in case you want to go check that video out. And from all of those, in addition to the foundation, I had really been sticking to using the bronzer. This is called the In the Tropics Bronzing Powder in Tahitian Sun, and shockingly, it has a little bit of glistening glimmer to it. It looks like way more in the pan. It comes off as more of a soft satin look to the skin when you actually wear it, but in the pan it looks shimmery, and so don't be scared by that. When you actually apply it, it looks so much more natural. Not quite, I mean, the Tantour is a full-on matte. There is not a hint of shimmer in here, but this just gives you that kind of golden, lit from within goddessy glow when you want to liven up, you know, a more dull complexion, I would say. So that's another really good one that I've been loving too. For blush, and what I'm wearing today is the Beauty Bakerie Cotton Candy palette. I am wearing the shade Sip Sip Hooray and No Champagne No Gain, specifically a blend of those two on my cheeks today, but I've really just been kind of going after all of these shades, sometimes individually, sometimes a combination of the two, and they just consistently lay so beautifully on the skin, and as a result, I've kind of been skipping highlights, which is unheard of for me, but I literally have no highlights to share because I don't know that I've picked one up, except for the Believe Beauty in that video that I did. I don't know that I've picked many up in the month of July because I've been using shimmery blushes. The other one that I recently picked up, because I realized that I should probably start coordinating my blushes better. These are all very, you know, pinky, mauve tone blushes, but on days when I'm wearing more orangey or warmer looks, I should probably have something that's better suited for that. So I recently went back in my collection looking for something that's a little bit shimmery and peachy, orangey undertone, and I found my L'Oreal Paradise Enchanted scented blush. I mean, it's definitely scented if you're sensitive to that. I don't know that I would reach for these immediately, but the color itself is gorgeous. This is the shade Fantastical, and it is a fair to light tone peach, maybe medium if you really build it up. I feel like it looks stronger in the pan than it comes off on the cheeks, depending on your skin tone, but it has this beautiful golden but golden shimmer to it, kind of like the Beauty Bakerie Cotton Candy Champagne palette does, where it gives you that 2-in-1 blush and highlight glow to the cheeks. I was wearing this one 2 videos back, I believe, the one where I was talking about my favorite summer foundations. This is the blush that I was wearing there, and it has become my go-to warm toned blush highlighter. Ooh, so this next one I kind of thought would never be in a favorites. I pretty much disliked it from the second I tried it, but have really come to love it, especially as the weather has gotten even hotter. It's the Huda Beauty Rusting Boss Face, and I'm sure all of you, at least that have heard of this, can guess why I disliked it so much. It's the scent. It is so heavily fragranced. It smells wonderful, but it smells like a perfume, and I don't know many of us that want to spray perfume directly onto our face because the scent really sticks with you. But there have been a few days where I knew I was going to be outside just sweating my face off, literally, that I was like, you know, why not give this a go? And every single time, it has never done me wrong. I just held my nose, closed my eyes and mouth, and just went to town on it. And once the kind of dust or, you know, cloud of mist had cleared, my face set and stayed in place all day. So I know this won't be for everyone. If you don't have a tolerance for fragrance, if you actually have a reaction to fragrance, like on your skin, this won't be for you. So I hate that this isn't going to be for everyone, but it is the only setting spray that I've actually noticed a difference, or noticed making a difference in the longevity of my face makeup. I've tried a ton of other, you know, prep and prime sprays, things like that, and I find that they do really good at taking the powderiness out of my makeup, but never really at making my face wear wear longer. And so that is where this one just comes out on top for me and is definitely, or has definitely been, a summer staple. Okay, now moving out of the eyes, getting this oldie but goodie out of the way, L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, still haven't stopped using it. For the shadows, Sydney Grace has been the real winner this month. They sent me my first ever PR box from them, and it was to show some of the items that they were including in their Christmas and July sale, which is now over, but all these products are now available on the site, and they are incredible and have been fueling my colorful eyeshadow looks for like the last half of the month. So I just have an assortment here, 2 sets that they came out with, and then 3 duochromes, which you know I went crazy over. They also have blushes in the sale. I personally ordered a couple of pans of blushes and highlighter along with some more cream shadows, but I have been loving, this is the I forget what it's called, it's like I'll list everything down below, but this foresty green section over here I've been loving, as well as those 3 duochromes. And then today, I'm actually not even wearing any of these on my eyes, but I did want to mention today that the new loose pigment formula they came out with, and that I swatched in the video that I made about all of this, swatching all of these things, in case you want to go watch it. But I feel like I didn't talk enough about these, or at least give them the attention that they deserve, because I was so focused on the multi-chromes and the pressed shadows, because they are amazing, I mean, to give them credit. But these loose pigments, I had commented on the size of the jar and also the nature of the texture of these, and just kind of asking, thinking aloud, why they were so different from the other pigments that Sydney Grace had. And one of you guys let me know in the comments, it is because there's a primer built into these. And in swatching them, that made a ton of sense, but especially in using them on my eyes, these really do not need any sort of mixing medium or primer. Like, the primer really is built in. They're flaky, but the second like your finger touches them, they immediately smooth into one consistent, almost pressed powder like formula. And so that is all I'm wearing on my, this shade, particularly Comforting Light, is all I'm wearing on my eyes today. And I can insert a clip right here of me doing it. I just took a finger, pressed it all over my lid, and then took a little brush in my lower lash line and ran it along there. It's literally the only thing I'm wearing on my eyes today. It's just such an impressive formula and a particularly gorgeous shade. Talked about my mascara, the lashes. I am back on my magnetic lash kick, still using my Ardell accent lashes. I have lots of videos on these if you want them, but I prefer magnetic lashes over regular lashes because they're just so much easier to apply and remove, not having to mess with lash glue. And so yeah, that is why, if you think I look magically more awake or more healthy or anything, it's probably the lashes. And last, let's move on to lips. First, talking about what I'm wearing right now. This is a Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl Lip Polish in the shade Berry Bliss. This is like a cross between an ultra shiny lip gloss and a lipstick, both in one. High pigmentation, almost total opacity. I think you can still see through these a little bit, but incredibly pigmented and ultra high shine. And the pigment doesn't separate from the base, so you don't have to worry about the pigment like bleeding or falling into like fine lines around your lips. They're just so gorgeous. I've been loving the bolder shades that I just watched a video that I uploaded yesterday. But then I've also really been loving, because I've been playing more so with colorful eyeshadow shades, this nude. It's called Act Natural. It's kind of like a soft peach that leans a little bit cooler. I've also really been loving the Kiko Milano Green Me Lips and Cheeks in the shade 106, which is kind of similar to this Act Natural, but I love this because it's like a very pigmented lip balm. Like, the texture and the finish is very balmy, but you can also use it on your lips, and it actually dries down so it doesn't feel sticky or tacky. It doesn't transfer like crazy on everything. And again, it's one of those shades that has just been going with every single, you know, eye look that I've been wanting to create this month. So it's been the first that I reach for. When I am feeling in the mood for a very bold lip and I want the focus to be entirely on the lips, I've been reaching for Lisa Eldridge's Rainbow Spill. I ordered all of her new lipsticks. You can go check out that video if you want to see those swatches and my thoughts, but spoiler alert, I love them all. I think they're all beautiful. And the one that I particularly gravitated towards, and I kind of knew I would when I first placed the order, was Rainbow Spill, because it is a hot neon watermelon shade, and it did not disappoint. If you want something that just screams beautiful pink summer, this is definitely a good shade for you. Unfortunately, I think she is sold out maybe of all the shades right now. She did a restock of some of the finishes, and so hopefully that means that there will be more restocks in the future, but it is starting to sound like these are going to be long-term shades, the whole collection. I think I remember her saying that the original Velvets were only supposed to be limited edition, but it's sounding like these are going to be long-term, which is good news, because every single shade that I have tried, which is all of them, are amazing. And those are all of my favorites for the month of July. I feel like that was a really long one, but I just had a lot of things that excited me this month, I guess. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. What products have you been loving for the month of July? Let me know it in the comments below. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.